Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I have been looking forward to this comfy talk all week, and just shout out to the team for putting this series together and providing so much value for the community. And for those of you who may not know me, my name is Liberty White. Hey, and I'm really interactive. So you guys be sure to any questions or comments, even as we're going along, to go ahead and drop them in the comments below, because that's what live streaming is all about, the engagement and interactivity. So I am Liberty White with Chosen Media, and I'm looking forward to this talk. I will say that for those of you who are, and let me know in the comments if you are you creative? Do you own a business? Are you a freelancer? Let me know, because then as I'm going along and sharing these tips and this information, that I'll be sure to skew and add some context that will definitely help those of you in that space. So let's get this party started. All right. Oh, I'm so looking forward. Hey, everyone. Hey. All right. So this is the Comfy Talk today, and I'm going to get into how to use video marketing to drive sales. A lot of times when people think about video marketing or having to do video, the first thing, let me know in the comments below, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For some people, it is, okay, I've got to do a promotional video because I'm going to have an event somewhere, or I have a new product coming out. And so it's while very good, it's also very tactical. And in today's talk, I want to talk to you about how to use video, not just for those one-off items that you might use video or when you're scrolling through your feed, but actually how to use video to convert and bring your audience to actually drive the sale and to make money, because that's an important part of doing business and growing your business. Hey, everyone who is just jumping in, and I want to let you know, here we go. We're going to talk about sales, and then I oftentimes get into the conversation so quickly, I forget to introduce myself. So I am Liberty White with Chosen Media, and I run a video marketing agency where we help companies and marketing teams create video campaigns and or video content to help them to drive sales. I am also a drone pilot, and I like to throw that in there because a lot of times that when it comes to video, there's so many ways that you can create content, and just getting another view, another perspective. Those sweet drone shots are always a fun aspect to add to any type of video content. And then strategy is my jam. That's what I love to do, just coming up with ideas of how to create the content, how to take a problem as driving sales and bringing that together and merging that with the world of video. Alrighty. So how are you currently using video? Again, being really interactive here. Are you using it to promote products? Are you using it to promote services? Or maybe you're not using video at all. Is this something that you want to start to do? Well, if that's the case, this is the talk for you. So what I want you to think about is, okay, when it comes to video, that how can I use it differently? Because video, as all of us, we're in the midst of COVID, and we are depending more and more on live streaming. We are depending more on engaging with people with video, whether that be using FaceTime, whether that be actually creating content for messaging. A lot of nonprofits at the beginning, a lot of corporations at the beginning of COVID, they were sending, that's what they used to get their message out about their products, about their brands, about how they are combating during COVID right now. And that's one of the things is like, okay, outside of just promoting my products and my services, how can I use video? How can video help me to really connect with my audience? Because if you think about it, even in this format, even with these comfy talks, it is almost like it's a one-to-one experience. Sure, we're interacting live and having this conversation, but it's like I'm right there with you and you are here with me in the office, in the car. So there are ways that when you really think about, and we'll get into this shortly, your customer journey, like how does your audience engage with you? How do you grow your business? How do people get to know more about your products and services? And then once you figure out and once you know your customer journey and that sales cycle, well, then that's where you can put video into the mix to help you just do your job better and more efficiently. All right. Now, when it comes to video marketing, oftentimes people kind of confuse the two or mistaken video production and video marketing. And I want to make sure that we clear the air here as it relates to what video marketing actually is. And as you'll see right there, it is essentially taking the creative process of actually creating video and creating the content and meshing it with your business goals. Is your goal to gain more subscribers to your video, to your newsletter? Is it a matter of that you have a new product coming out, so you want to bring awareness to it? Whatever those business goals are, it's taking that creative process and the business goals and bringing them together. And that's really what it is when it comes down to video marketing. Now, oftentimes, people think about the production process, which is where you are just focused on creating the video content itself. And it goes way further than that. And that's where we'll get into the customer journey. And that is how does your audience connect with you? How does your audience, if you are a creative, let's say you're an interior designer, how do people learn about your services? Is that word of mouth, which is really popular for many of us, is that we do a great job on a project and then people refer us elsewhere. Well, if that's the case, how do you take that word of mouth to actually the process of somebody saying, hey, I'd like to get to know more about your services and possibly doing business with you, and then taking that all the way to them signing that contract, and then basically you getting that converts to a sale and you gaining a customer. So that customer journey map, which I'll get right into, is basically helping us go from, okay, people don't know about our business or our service, and then taking them all the way to being a happy and a loyal and long-serving customer. Now, when it comes to the customer journeys, there are 5 stages, and that starts with the awareness. And awareness is just basically, as you hear a lot of people, like, I just want more people to know about my brand, to know about my business. And if you want to go ahead, for those of you who are watching, let me know, what business are you in? And we can try to weave you into this and even talk through what that customer journey process could look like for you. And then how you can put video into the mix to help you gain more sales. So there's that awareness side of things. And many people, awareness can be, hey, we'll start with just even a social media video, or maybe it's, hey, let's do some kind of branded video so that it will help people to just about our company, just a one-on-one interview possibly, because people do business with who they know, like, and trust. And just thinking about your video apart, again, I want to stretch you from just promoting an event or just promoting a product to really the point of building a relationship and using video to do that. Because they say roughly 55% of people who see videos from brands that they like, that they are more likely to convert. So when you think about that number and your ability to get a piece of the pie of anyone who sees your video, whether that be on your landing page, whether that be, yes, on social, but let's take it offline for a minute. Maybe that is using video in your email newsletters. There's so many ways to add video there so that you are able to build the relationship and then also do the work to convert people to actually buy your product, buy your services. And then next is the consideration phase. And as I kind of was doing a broad view of hey, here's some ways that you can build awareness. Well, consideration, if you think of it almost like a pyramid, and the top of the pyramid is, or the bottom, an inverted pyramid, the top part that's where you just cast a really big net out there, and you're just basically telling about who you are, telling about your services, and it's for a broad audience. But then when you get to that next level where people are actually I want to know more about, let's see, Luther. I see there's a Luther on here. I want to know more about Luther, and he does, again, going along this interior design. Then this is where you can use video to create content that, okay, people, they see you, they've seen you in their feed, they've heard about you, but they want to get to know you a little bit more. Well, that in that consideration phase, that's where, hey, maybe you do something like this Comfy Talk series, and you do something where people they're able to ask questions, or they're able to get to know a little bit more outside of just that overall advertising that you do. But this is where people have almost more even specific questions about your business, about your brand, about your products. Hey, what size does this come in? Or do you ship overseas, or do you have an e-commerce website? That's when people are wondering, hey, that's how this is somebody that, hey, their services fit my need. Because remember, people, when you have a business, that people are looking for, what problem do you solve for them? And hey, it could be just you having as an interior designer, we're home right now, making our space much more comfortable and livable, and people are intentionally looking for designers to help them with that, or creators to help them to organize their space. And you want to show up for them in a deeper way, because as they're thinking about, well, who am I actually going to choose, because they've Googled or they've asked friends, that your video content is living online somewhere where people can find you. Because it's not necessary that they are going to do it during specific office hours, that they could be up at 12 o'clock at night. Do you have content that's out there for people to be able to have that consideration taking place? Next up is them actually going ahead to make a purchase. How can your video be able to help and serve them as they're making a purchase? And if you want to think about it even as in this, I'm a bit of a techie, but in that world where when you're going to check out, sometimes there are videos that they tell you, okay, before you check out, and they actually walk you through the process. Is that something that could work for your business? Because, think about the times that you're at the shopping cart and you're trying to figure something out, and you might abandon your shopping cart because you've just been frustrated with the process, or you jumped on the phone to try to reach their customer service and you couldn't get through. What are ways that you can have video that answers that, so it saves you time, as whether you're a solopreneur or you have a small business, but it saves you time, but it also helps your customer. And as I'm walking through this journey, the idea is that as people are looking, they really do want to do business with you, that you are finding ways to make that as easy and as seamless as possible. So just to recap, so we touched on the awareness and consideration? And then actually when they're making a purchase, is there an FAQ video possibly? Are you showing them how to check out? Are you showing them how to make the purchase? Is there a quick, and you also want these videos, if possible, we're always of the proponent that, okay, like 60 seconds, can you say it in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes max, but you don't want to go much longer than that, because time is precious, time is life, and the shorter, the quicker you can is the easier that you will make that process for your customer. Then rounding it out is service. So they've actually bought your product. Is there a way that you can provide them with more information on how to use the product? If we go away from, there are times when I've bought cameras and then the next email I get from the company is, hey, here are some lenses that go with your camera, or here's the startup guide on helping you to walk through with your camera. Like, what ways can you use that? And if you are from the creative standpoint, if somebody has possibly bought some artwork from you, is there, and I know that this might seem like it's a lot of work, but we are living in a very competitive day and age. And the more that you can be the kind of company that does like everything up front or makes it as easy as possible, those are people that will stick with you. Sure, price may run into whether somebody chooses company A or B, but when you create an experience for your customer, that's what helps people to refer you, and you have great testimonials and word of mouth. So again, there is just that service side of that things. And then you want to get into, last but not least, is loyalty. Now they've bought some designs from you, they have bought the artwork from you, or maybe they've attended your event. We're looking at, how do we do repeat business now? How do we help them how do we build that loyalty with them? And that could be, again, coming back to this Comfy Talk series, you are all here, some of you might be guests, and for any of you, how long have you been following Comfy Art? Because that would be a perfect example of the loyalty. They're creating this content because they want to serve their audience. They know that their audience is consuming more content than we have ever before, and doing it in an engaging way, bringing thought leaders directly to the community to give them information that will help them to be better creatives, doing more business, or just overall entertainment. So when you're just thinking through some of those ways of, okay, now we've got the customer, we've got the sale, it's not over. You don't just dump them on the wayside. It is, okay, how do I continue until they're ready for that next art piece? How do I keep them engaged? How do I build loyalty so they are with me for the long haul? So that was just walking you through the customer journey and just some ways that you can think about, okay, outside of advertising, how else can I use video to help with just the overall business cycle? And this is something the customer journey is something that we see a lot in corporate, but it is also something that works really well as long as you know, and it will take some work on your part of like, how do my customers engage or interact with me? And I've got some homework, so you gotta keep going until the end, because these are proven tactics that will help with that sales. Now, it won't be everyone, you won't get everyone, but those people that are really looking for, have a real need, whether, again, because I know that this is a creative community, whether it be beautifying their home or their space, or they're looking for gifts, that this is a way for you to show up for them at the right time with the right message and in the right way. And that's why I said earlier that it might not be, you have to really know your audience. Are they going to sit through a 10-minute video of you just explaining how to do something versus, hey, we were able to make what we call snackable content, just thinking through some of those ways. And I kind of shared just with you some examples, but here are some types of, video marketing, whether that be creating some how-to videos. So how to use your product, how to use your service. Is there something very specific with your industry or what you do that you can teach or show your audience how to do that? Because when you think about that, YouTube is a perfect example. And if you've ever heard, and let me know, have you guys heard the term like SEO, which is search engine optimization? And when you recognize that is just basically the content that you put out online, that when people are searching, whether it be searching YouTube or searching Google, that they will, you want to rank as high as possible so that people will end up on your website, on your profile, or on your page. And when you think about it, Google is the number one search engine in the world. Number two is YouTube. So if in the last 15, 20 minutes of you watching this talk, that if there is anything that I say, like, let it be this that really sticks with you, knowing that YouTube is the number two search engine in the world, that if you know some of your keywords or some of the questions that your audience asks, then why not put content on YouTube? You do not need 1,000 millions of followers on YouTube for people to find your business. This is again, remember what I said in the beginning, video marketing. So not just the production side, but marketing. And if you put your content on YouTube and you've got the right keywords, when people are looking for how to reorganize my space, and you've got the slamming video that you've described how to do it, and then at the end, there's some sort of call to action so that people know where to find you or know how to work with you. Like, this is what we're talking about in driving sales. Like, every piece of advantage that you can get over the next person. I'm not saying this in like a negative way, but it is competitive. People are looking for, we're in that information age. People are constantly searching, that if you can show up on the other end of their problem, then you have a greater chance that people will choose to. And the thing is, you just want them, you want to win the click is what they call it. Win the click, that they've watched your video and now they're going to click to find out more information about your business or about your brand. So that was a long time on the how-to, but how-to is one of the top search queries. I said that like really bad. Search terms on YouTube, and just adding something just like that, it helps take your content just even further and faster. There could be ways of can you do interviews? Does that make sense for your business or your brand? An explainer video of how to, going back to using your product or just explaining about your business. Maybe you do some very specific creative, using a creative tool, or there's a very specific way that you present your services to the world. Well, is it a little complicated? Because if you write it out, will people comprehend it? Versus you creating a quick 60-second video that might help that, because a confused buyer will not buy, and you want to make it as easy and as seamless as possible for your audience. And I know I'm still talking, but go ahead, and if you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to dive into the comments and I will answer them. And then you can see there are just a list of other ways that you can use video to, again, outside of just creating like this social media video, but other ways that you can use video in your marketing and build a cohesive strategy with that. All right, some quick tips on when you've actually got to the point of like, okay, I've got it. I understand my customer journey. I know that people will find me primarily on Instagram. And then from Instagram, I know that I'm making, Great question. I'm going to come to that in one moment. So that knowing people they find me on Instagram, and then from Instagram, they've clicked because of some video that you did sharing some tips. So then now they are joining you on a webinar series, or there's some special event that you've created. So now they're coming to you from that vantage point that, you know what? Less is more, making sure that you don't overcomplicate it. A lot of times, video is a lot. Creating content takes a lot of work. So make it as easy as possible for your viewer, because at the end of the day, you want to create as much value as possible. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Those two, I could have just sandwiched those together. Include a call to action. And I will share this. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to their videos or their content. And I will put a slight disclaimer. It depends on what you're trying to do. But if you are looking to, again, we were talking earlier about the journey, is we're taking people from the awareness stage and then getting them all the way to convert to actually doing business with you, which at the end of the day, that means money in your pockets, is that you want to make sure, tell them what to do. Like, they have watched your video. Don't let it be more than just this cute, fun video, or even if it's informative. Hey, sign up for go to the website and click, and as a bonus tip, just on the back end of that, have a very specific place that you want them to go. Don't just come to my website and then there's all this information there that gets them kind of cluttered. Say, hey, go to the website and maybe even make the URL very specific. So it is interiordesign.com/get more, or whatever. That was really just off the dome, but make it something that is memorable. Maybe it's even, you see an increase even in text campaigns now. At the end of your video, hey, if you want to learn more, text Bob at 55555. How easy is that? That now you who are watching, hey, Bob 55555, or making sure that it pops up on the screen at the end of your video. And then last but not least, use what you have. So often people are, and I know I'm a gadget and a gearhead, and I'm constantly, if any of you who follow me, thanks for jumping on this live, but I'm constantly saying, here's the latest, or how to use this. And I'm constantly talking about gear. But before you go spend that money on new stuff, if you do not need it right now, use what you have. Use your mobile device to just make sure you've got some good light. Right now, I should turn this off and show you, the light is behind me, so I didn't want to come on. I could have come on like this, but my ring light is my friend because it's portable and it's mobile. But see how that just instantly just changed something, and I am talking to you broadcasting live from a mobile device. So just knowing that there are just small things that you can get to up your production, and you do not have to spend a lot of money, especially if you are just starting out. And I do want to go back. So the question here from I want to say it's Nepath. I totally butchered that, so forgive me. But you were saying, what about providing local services? So that's a great question. So providing local services, and I'm going to ask you to maybe even expand, because if I understand you correctly, that's you're not worried about reaching everyone online. You are looking to, hey, I just want to reach people in Toronto, or just people in Atlanta, or maybe there's specific places. Well, that's when you start using, making sure that you've got the right keywords in those areas, whether if you are putting content and actually putting money behind it, an ad spend, as they say, or media buy behind it, of, when you use Facebook or whether you do Google ads, just making sure that it is regional. Like you've said, hey, I just want these specific zip codes. So that is one way to look at it. The other way is, why not just making sure that when you're pushing out this content, hey, do you have partners that you can cross promote with that are within a certain region or within a certain area? Because that will make sure that your video is populated in people. Because if you are in a certain geographic area and you're cross promoting with other people in that same area, it just, the algorithm, is your friend, and my time is winding down. So please, if there are any other questions, and feel free to also DM me. See, check out that call to action on this live video. Feel free to DM me just to make sure that I was understanding your question right about if you have local services. And I would even add to that being local, that's even more of a reason for you to create video content, because we're going to see, and I'm letting you know from like a forecasting perspective, is that video is also coming to the point where it is more and more personalized. If you notice, if sometimes that you're on YouTube and then an ad pops up, and when they pop up the number on the ad, it's like 404, 416, wherever you are. And it's like, oh, like that's right here in the area. Like you have an even greater chance of people patronizing you, because there's just that recognition that, oh, okay, this is someone that's just around the corner that I can work with or I can do business with. So just wanted to make sure that, like, I want to leave you with some marching orders for those of you who are like, okay, you know what? I think I can do this, and I can do video marketing and think about video differently. Is go back to thinking about, how do people find you? How do people, like, where does it go from people saying, hey, I'm looking for XYZ, to them actually finding you, to them actually writing that contract or purchasing something from you? And then how do you keep them engaged afterwards? Write those steps out, and as many variations as possible. They find you from word of mouth, they find you from social media, they find you wherever that is. And then now you can then go back into, okay, what kind of content do I need to create that can speak to them at this part of the journey, and then speak to them at this part of the journey? So that, when you think about it, as much as the customer journey sounds like this big daunting thing, just making it simple. How do people find me? How do they select me? And go back, ask your customers, past customers, people that you've worked with that have appreciate the work that you do. Ask them, like, what was the thing that made you choose to do business with me? Because those are ways that will inform how you can market and put that content in future videos. So again, it's all about, this conversation is about how to use the customer journey to drive sales. And well, that's it for me. Here is my call to action for those of you. Thank you so much for tuning in for the past half an hour. And you can visit me online at 100 Small Biz, where we do video marketing workshops and provide insights on how to even do from the content creation perspective, but then also to the marketing perspective. And also, we've got a video marketing planner coming out for small businesses, and you can find that at the DIY video marketing planner. Get on the list so that once it comes out, that you can grab your copy. It talks about this very thing of the customer journey and helping you to do business and figure out how to make video work for you and to drive sales. You can find me at I Am Liberty. Chosen Media is the company that I run, and I've had a blast. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch all of you. And I want to make sure that, I'll catch all of you next time. This has been a blast. I've enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.